Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I have Abhit here with me. Abhit is a student of Texas A&M. He's studying construction management there. Abhit, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What are you doing right now? And yeah, just give us a summary on that.
All right. Thank you, Path, for having me on this video. Hello, everyone. My name is Abhit Borkar. I am from Aurangabad, Maharashtra. I completed my schooling till 10th standard in Aurangabad. Then I switched to Pune, and that's where the story began. I completed my undergrad in civil engineering in year 2017. Then I and my friend tutored. We taught few courses like engineering mechanics and structural design for 3 months at my place, and then fortunately I bagged a job for a general contractor in Pune. I worked for that company for 2 years, or not say 2 years, but approximately for 21 months. And then I resigned, and I started preparing for my application process. And in November 2019, I was offered an admit from Texas A&M, and here I am speaking with Path and sharing my journey with you guys.
You know what? I think this is very interesting. Let's speak a little bit about just very small thing. How was your experience getting an admit in COVID and coming to the US during COVID times? How was that for you?
It was a little difficult for me, to be honest. Like it's a different story. Like the story started within from July 2020 to August, and the story ended in 2020. So what happened is, I had already applied for I have already paid the fees of service fee, and I have already applied for the visa in July. But I was hoping that the councillors will start opening up at the end of July, but that didn't happen. So I applied for the emergency appointments, and things weren't turning in my way. It were going far away from me. So I almost lost hope, and till 10th of August, I deferred my admission to spring semester. And on 12th of August, I received an email from US General Consulate Mumbai that your request has been accepted, and they gave me the time slot from 17th of August to 27th of August, and I was supposed to book an appointment in that date. And
Hmm.
but the problem was my department wasn't ready enough to resign my deferral request, and also uh, they were not able to, so our reporting date, in-person date, was 25th of August, and it was hardly possible for us to be by
Right,
25th of August. Yeah. So
right.
uh, after 2 or 3 days, me and the other five fellows who from our department who made it successfully to Texas A&M in this year, we wrote an email from our side. We explained them the scenario, and they were generous enough. And on 17th of August, our request was approved. It was like a blessing. So the in-person deadline was shifted from 25th of August to 31st of August. So on the
Hmm.
17th of August, I booked my slot for 20 and 21. I went to Mumbai on 20. I gave my OFC on 21. I did my visa appointment. It was done. And then on 27th of August, I was here. So within the 8 to 9 days of time frame, we made it to the US. So there were a lot of challenges we faced, but yeah, finally we made it to the US.
Getting back to it, let's talk about what made you decide to do a master's. I know you graduated in 2017, you worked for 21 months. What made you decide that what bring that idea to your mind that, hey, I want to do master's and that too in construction management? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So, see, as I completed my bachelor's in civil engineering, I always wanted to pursue my career in the construction industry, right? So, when I started working for the general contractor in Pune, I had never had any plans of pursuing masters in US. I always thought that I would gain experience and I will keep moving. I will do my career, pursue my career in India only. But then, after some point of time while I was working there, I realized that. Let's be honest, the construction industry in India is not well organized as compared to the other countries. And
Definitely.
yeah, and on the top of that, the growth rate was not that good, at least according to me. So I have seen many engineers on my side while I was working there. So that's what I thought. That's what it started. the it started like it hit me like if I go down this line I won't be able to make a good progress. And also I had a wonderful project manager who had his experience abroad. He had worked in Gulf countries, so he used to share his experience with me. He used to tell me how things are different in other countries.
Right.
And that's when I started to realize, okay, I need to look upon I need to take this thing seriously. I need to look for the options. And speaking about my experience in the during that time frame, I was it was like a field engineer. Though I was hired as a junior engineer, but most of the time I used to be on the site. That's not what I wanted. Also wanted the on desk responsibilities as well.
Mm.
Always wanted the balance between the on desk and the off desk responsibilities. So and also I have mentioned this on my LinkedIn profile that while I was working there, it was like just I was standing on the tip of the iceberg. There is always room to learn more and explore more, right? So that's when I decided to go ahead and pursue my master's in construction management.
I see. I see. That is interesting. And I think this might not be the question you are ready for, but tell me one thing, like, what do you think, why is Indian construction industry lacking so much? Like, why is it not organized? Why kind of students who get into construction industry right away are kind of treated poorly, or they don't feel like they're compensated fairly? I'm sure you have thought about it. Like, I don't expect an answer which will be a
Mhm.
solution. I expect like whatever you think about.
See, first of all, the engineers or the people who are at the senior level, they have been treated the same way they are treating us, right? So it's like
Hmm.
if you are treated the same way, then there is a tendency that the upcoming students will be treated in the same way. Like we have never progressed beyond a barrier. There has been a conventional barrier which beyond which we have not ever surpassed or tried to go beyond it. But here things are different. Uh, work are carried out with the hands. I mean, uh, things are different here. People here take the help of technology. Technology and work go hand in hand. That's how things are. But in India, there is a maybe I would say that's how the mentality or that's how our seniors are groomed. and uh, and maybe lack of they may not have got that level of appreciation. So
Right.
it yeah, so that's how things keeps going on. Like if you are not treated the way you should be, you there is a tendency that when any new students come in or when new engineers come in, you will also treat them in the same way because that's how the human tendency is. So I think that might be the reason.
Right. At least like just to have a healthy discussion, I think the problem, like I've been working here for a year and a half now, and I felt like the people here are amazing. First of all, they treat you well. They don't do micromanaging. They'll they don't tell you exactly what to do. They'll be like, okay, these are your tasks. You do you. If you need help, ask us. Whereas in India, it's like very a lot of micromanaging, telling them again and again. And I think people also slack because of that. That
Correct.
well, he'll remind me, and there's the technology you're talking about. We all have iPads. We work on Procore a
Exactly.
lot, and
Exactly.
everything goes on Procore. Like it's record,
Yeah.
record, record. Doesn't matter if I'm saving it on my company's drive. No, it still has to go on Procore so that our safety officer can access it. The owners can access it. Our field guys can access it, and it makes it easier for everyone. I think
Correct.
that's a really important thing. But
And also to add on the same point, see what happens is in India, the construction laborers are also not paid well, right? So
correct.
the environment, yeah. So the environment in which we have to work, it's there is a major difference between the construction laborers in India and the construction laborers in
Hmm.
US or any other countries. So
Yeah.
the environment is also dependent upon the labor for which you with which you work for.
True.
If
True. True.
yeah, so that also again impacts a lot of things or the way the work is carried out because here in US, as per my understanding, the laborers are trained separately. They know their work well, right? You don't
Correct.
need to show them how to hammer a nail, or you don't need to shout, but things are a little different in
Right.
India.
No, I agree on this because the laborers here are paid at least $12 or $15 um, an hour, right? And then they're
Yeah,
treated well as well. And then there are all these tools and um, safety features to their
correct.
disposal. Of course, you have more budget. In India, first of all, there's a lot of corruption in construction, as we all
Exactly.
know, right? The top
Agree.
guys are eating a lot of money, and that's why
Yeah,
bottom guys are not getting paid well. The
true.
laborers are treated not well. So, on that note, what made you decide on construction management and not on other fields of civil? Like you could go to structural or water engineering. What made you decide that I want to do construction management as my master's?
See, structure, I was always afraid of the structural design part. I never excelled in that. Not, let's not say excel, but I never had any interest in structural part of it, of the construction industry. Speaking about any other part like water resource or geotechnical, again, it's about the interest you work, right? And if I had no interest in the construction industry or construction management field, I'm not sure I would have been sustained those 21 excruciating
Mm,
those 21 months in
months.
the field. So standing in
Right.
the sun, it's not a joke. You understand? Sky is the
Right.
literally sky is the limit for us. So that makes sense in the construction industry. So it's all about the interest and it's about your passion, I would say. And that is the reason why I went ahead and you know faced all the challenges and I was working there because that's what I loved doing instead of other or pursuing my career in any other branch. And that's why I went ahead with the construction management field.
Okay, awesome. Let's talk about which universities you applied to. Did you apply to a lot of them? Did you divide it into moderate, safe, and what do you call a dream university? How did you go about your admissions? Which all universities? I know Texas A&M would be one, and then which other universities you applied to?
Yeah, uh, I did make the bifurcations of dream or let's say ambitious, safe, and moderate universities. So overall, I applied to 7 universities. So one was Texas A&M, Colorado State University, Fort Collins, Purdue University, Arizona State University, Stevens Institute of Technology, and Clemson University, Virginia Tech, and oh yeah, these are the 7 universities. So I was accepted from 5 universities, and I was rejected from 2 universities. So the 2 universities who rejected me was your university, Purdue University, and the Arizona State University, and
I
the
see.
5 others, yeah, and the 5 were Stevens, Clemson, Colorado State, Fort Collins, Texas A&M, and Virginia Tech.
Right. So, did you, because I know a lot of universities waived off their GRE procedure because of COVID. Did you take GRE and then apply through it? Because I know you took GRE last year in 2019, and that's when you would have applied as well. So, what was your score like, your GPA, if you're comfortable sharing that? Uh, tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
sure.
that.
Sure. So, see, when the COVID hit the market or our industry, it was during the Feb or March, I guess, right?
Right,
So I
correct.
had already completed my application process by the month of December. So I had already drafted SOP and sent my score. So I couldn't avail the GRE waiver fee or GRE waiver program. So I have shared my GRE with all the universities. And speaking about the GRE scores and my GPA, I scored 146 in verbal and Cont was 162. I scored 4.0 in AWA, and TOEFL was my TOEFL score was 97. And my GPA, I never converted it to GPA, so we were always given the marks in percentage. So total aggregate, of the 4 years aggregate was 70%.
So Texas A&M is the big guy. It's like Texas
Yeah.
A&M, UT Austin, and probably the third place is like Purdue or Virginia Tech, right?
Uh-huh.
So what do you think got you into Texas A&M? Your GRE, as you said, like wasn't the greatest, and
Yeah.
um, you worked for 21 months. What do you think, according to you, as you know, like we don't exactly know what might have
Yeah.
attracted your application to the admission committee. So, what do you think, according to you, was the make or break factor in your application?
See, I would say to the audience is it purely depends upon the research which you do about the university. How well do you know your university? And when you apply to the universities, there are three major factors, or let's say four major factors, which are the game changer for you. First is GRE score, TOEFL score, SOP, and LORs, right? So GRE
Hmm.
and TOEFL were okay, they were average. So I only had two options left with me. One was SOP and LOR. Again, LOR are not editable. They will be given with my professor and my managers. So I couldn't make any changes in it. All I had was SOP. So I believe my work, which I did in the past 21 months, I made sure that it was up to the mark. I mean, it was reflected up to the mark in my SOP. Uh, I I had a word with many students who were already enrolled in those universities. I talked with them. I understood what the SOP exactly is. I saw your videos. I took the notes of it. Apart from it, I shared my SOPs, as you have mentioned in your videos as well, that try to share your SOPs, get feedbacks from the current students who are already studying there or who have done this process in the past. So that's what I did. And after getting all the feedbacks from the students, I drafted my SOP in the same manner. And apart from it, I also used to be in touch with the graduate advisors of the department of that specific program. So they knew about me, or they at least knew that this guy is trying to get into the university. He
Hmm.
wants it. And another trick, which maybe I don't know if anyone has used it or not, we all know that whenever we go on the LinkedIn, whenever
Hmm.
we visit LinkedIn profile, we leave footprints on his or her profile, right? So I had made a list of all the graduate advisor, which I thought might be in the admission committee. Whom I thought who might be, because most of the time graduate advisors are the part of that admission committee. So what I did is I made the list of those people. I added them in the. I did. I don't remember if I added them, but what I used to do is I used to visit the profile knowingly. Just I used to go on their profile twice or thrice a month, because what happens is it's a human tendency uh, when you see, oh, okay, this guy has visited my profile. What is he doing on my profile? So what you do is you go on that guy's profile and you go for it. So I think
Hmm.
this might have helped,
That is an
but I,
interesting idea. I've not. This is the first time I'm hearing that. Like to use
so
it to your benefit. It's kind of
exactly,
people think it's a negative thing that you're visiting somebody else's profile, so they would know that who you are. Well, but in your case, it kind of became a positive thing because in their head is like, oh, we have seen this guy on
yeah,
LinkedIn.
exactly.
He's doing his research and he's trying to see which professors are going to teach. So maybe that is definitely on a positive side of the
Uh,
application.
Also, you have to make sure that your profile is well maintained before you visit, because otherwise
Correct.
it will be like handing over a gun to them. So
Exactly. LinkedIn is one of the most underrated resources in India. Now it's catching up, at least
right.
until last year when I did my events and workshops in India. A lot of
Mhm.
people were still didn't have LinkedIn. If they had LinkedIn, they wouldn't interact. I guess there is a shift, there's a change which is coming in India, whereas everybody's going to LinkedIn every day instead of going to LinkedIn when they need a job or when they need something from the professional network. So that's a good thing. And
Man, LinkedIn
again,
should pay you for the increasing the traffic on the LinkedIn.
and it's okay, man. Like until unless I, I love that I can interact with you, and since I posted
Great.
that, hey, I want to do video interviews, I got such a good positive response, and I think that's like LinkedIn paying me back. So I'm happy with that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So um, tell us a little bit about how you prepared for your master's application. I know you were working for 21 months.
Mhm.
How did you put it all together? Um, so let's talk about your undergrad project experiences, research experiences, and then in the 21 months, whatever you did, how did you put it together in your statement of purpose? How did you present it yourself, or how did you sell yourself to the admissions
Right.
committee?
See, before preparing for my application process, I have always believed that nobody will fight the battles for you more harder or more efficiently than you, right? So I always believed in that, and that is the reason why I resigned from my job and I completely focused on preparing for the application process. And you have also mentioned or suggested many times that don't try to indulge with the consultancies. So that's the reason why I started preparing for my application. I started studying about it. First checkbox for me was the GRE. So I prepared for GRE. I borrowed the used books from my friend. Like he had the local GRE academy books. So I used those books. Apart from it, I also used Manhattan 5 LBS, which was a great one, I think. And for AWA, I used to write uh, issue and argument type essays. Not daily, it was very difficult to write every day. So maybe twice or thrice a week, I used to write them. I used to compare my
Mhm.
writing with the available resources. There are a couple of resources online. So I used to compare my writing with them, and then
Mhm.
I got a hold of it. I understood what actually they want in AWA. And for like maths was always my favorite, so I never faced an issue in dealing with the maths. And for verb and for the vocab, there is an app, like it is WordBot. It is launched by GIH. So I felt that it was a wonderful app. I use that app for vocabulary, and also I use Parents 1000. Even though my
Right.
verbal score is not that good, but yeah, this is what I
It's
followed.
okay, man. It's one of those things, like people think, oh, if your verbal score is not good enough, oh, you might be bad in English or anything like that. It's just, it's one of those exams you just, well, we don't use those kind of vocabulary in every day. We are also bilingual people, so that's not our first language, even though we have been taught that language since our first grade. But I'll be real, we don't use that kind of vocabulary in our day to day, or even until like grade 10th or grade 8th. I wasn't speaking that much English in a day to day manner. So it's okay.
Yeah.
And again, GRE, as you mentioned that you did not get into ASU, I was actually talking to um, another incoming student who's coming to Virginia Tech for computer science. But
Uh-huh.
he told me something which was very interesting, that a lot of these universities where they get thousands and thousands of applications. For example, ASU is one of them, right?
Yeah.
And then for example, USC is one of them for computer science, and UT Arlington or UT Dallas is one of them for construction management as well. So they get hundreds and thousands of applications. So if your GRE score is on a lower side, they'll reject you because they're not even going to spend that much time on your application, because
Okay.
they are kind of filtering it just through GRE and GPA because that's the easiest quantitative factor.
Uh-huh.
And then what they'll do is like they'll just pick the top 100, top 200 applications, and they'll look through it and see who's good and who's not.
Okay. But I hate ASU because people with 299, that GRE score with 299, they have got into the ASU. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, I was going for Texas A&M, but
Right.
that it will always be in the back of my mind. Okay, this is the university which rejected me.
It was probably for the better.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, nothing can beat that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, you continue what you were saying.
Yeah. So as I was done with my GRE on 5th of August 2020, and sorry, 2019, and then I booked my slot for TOEFL. As I have already prepared for GRE, so uh, I did not felt any need of preparing for TOEFL rigorously as I did for the GRE. So what I did was I used the ETS resources for preparing for TOEFL, and other than that, I found this YouTube guy whose name is Daniel, Toffel with Daniel. His videos were awesome. In fact, the interface was almost similar to the one which we have on the TOEFL exam. So that helped me a lot. And then once I was done with my TOEFL, I started shortlisting my universities and preparing my SOPs. So while shortlisting my universities, I made sure that I know what I wanted. Like I always wanted to be uh, that there were two major conditions or two major filters which I used before shortlisting the university. One was the tuition fees, and another was the ranking or the course curriculum of the university. So after going through the different profiles on the Yocket, I also use Yocket, by the way. So after going through the different profiles on the Yocket, going from university to university and looking at the course curriculum, uh, I shortlisted this 7 to 8 universities, and then I applied to them. And yeah, so side by side, I was also, I mean, while shortlisting this university, I was working on the SAP, as I mentioned. I was having worked with different students. By the time I already had shortlisted the university, so I had at least one contact in each and every university, like from Colorado State, Clemson, Purdue, Texas A&M. So I used to have word with them. I used to take feedbacks from them. How is it like? What are the Are there any TA positions opening up? What are they exactly looking for? And what was their experience? And after the feedbacks which I got, depending upon that, I drafted my SOP, and then I applied to this university.
Abhit, one thing I want to ask is like how you mentioned that I was looking at tier positions and
Mhm.
opening at different universities. How do you
Yeah.
look it up? I think we should discuss that a little bit because a lot of people we say that we looked up into TA position. They don't know exactly how to look into it. Do you go to the department's page? Do you go to the university's employment page? How do you look that up?
Okay. See, there are a couple of ways where we can find these positions. First of all, if department is generous enough, most of the time you will find this positions available on the department website itself. So sometimes you may not be lucky, you won't be able to see that. So this next step you want to take is go ask a student who is studying there, or who so for that you have to make a connection on the LinkedIn, right? Or at least you need to have a friend who can give you the correct insights about the department if it is not present on the website. So that's what I did. Most of the time I never used to find any teaching assistantship or any such positions on online. So I used to have word with with the students, or with the connection which I have made through LinkedIn. This was the second method which can be used, or which I have used. The third method is, once you get an admit from university, just go through the professors' profiles, look out for the courses they are going to teach, look out for the research they have done. And once you find it, you know, for the coming fall semester, coming spring 21 semester, this professor is going to teach this subject. So there are either two chances, or there are two options. Either he might be having a TA, or he may not be having a TA. So all you have to do
Right.
is writing an email to him, asking him about the conditions, like if he's searching for any position or looking for anyone to fill that position. And that's it. You need to just shoot an email to him. But before shooting, also one more thing I would like to add is, you need to make sure that your experience or your proficiency is relevant to that position, or relevant to the work he has done or the subject he's going to teach. If that makes
Mhm.
sense, then that increases your probability of getting into that position.
Correct.
So these were the
That
three
is
methods. Yeah.
that is great point. I think people do not know this that in the US, every professor is, if they're teaching a course, they usually have a TA, most likely.
Exactly. Yes.
And most of the professors, if they are doing any kind of research work, they would have a research assistant as well. So that's a great way to find out if a professor is hiring someone or not. See what courses they are teaching. If they are undergrads, they are definitely hiring a master's teaching assistant.
Correct.
Awesome
True.
point.
And
Um,
yeah, similarly on that, I would also like to add one more point. First
sure.
admit I got was from Colorado State University, Fort Collins. Okay, on their website there wasn't any TA position available. So at that time, I had no clue what was going inside the department. But I had made one connection through LinkedIn. He used to tell me that for fall 2020 semester there are a couple of positions opening up, so you might want to look for it. And once after I received an email of admit, after few days, they sent an email of they themselves sent an email that they are looking for TA position. For there were a number of positions opening. I mean, they were opening up for fall 2020. And if any one of us, of the guys who have been admitted, if they wanted to go for the position, they have to just apply for it. So
Hmm.
I chose a position and I applied for it. But while writing an email, uh, I I told the professor like how my course or how my experience is gonna be beneficial. What am I bringing to the table, right?
Oh,
So,
awesome, awesome.
and similarly, other two guys who two guys or two three guys who got received an admit, they also got the email and they also applied for that position. But after 2 3 days, once the it was analyzed, or when the decision was made, the first interview call was given to me. Those two guys were not given that call for that position, but it was given to me. So it's not like you just need to write an email. While writing an email, you have to also make sure that you are making it more relevant and how you are going to be beneficial for the professor. So
I
that's
love
how
it.
things
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
I think it's a great way to tell people that, hey, they are offering you a position, so you have to offer them a lot more,
Correct.
whatever you have, and they understand that you're also a student who might be graduating just recently. So tell them exactly what you are bringing on. They already know it, but they want to hear from you. And if you put in that extra effort while you're putting in that email, it's going to go a long way. That's a great example. For Thanks for sharing that.
Correct. No problem.
Continuing with your application, so you applied, you finished your GRE, you finished your TOEFL, and then you started your applications. Tell us a little bit about your statement of purpose. How did you go
Exactly.
about it?
Thank you for bringing up that part. See,
Yeah,
statement of purpose, there is not one single thing which which is a decision maker for you in the statement of purpose. It's the accumulation of the different pointers which you gain from the statement of purpose. So first pointer I would say is the opening of the statement of purpose. First of all, you are writing, like most of the universities allow you to write 1000 words SOP, but ESU was restricted to 500 words, but generally it is around 1000 to 1200 words. So
hmm,
when a person is going to invest your time in reading that SOP, you have to make sure that you make it interesting, right? It does not have to be those mundane, repetitive work. You have to stand out from the other competition or other students as well. So when you write or when you open up the SOP, when you begin to write the SOP, there should be something catchy, which may increase the interest of the reader. Okay, fine. Okay, this guy is writing something good. As if, or the first para at least, it should be interesting. It should be like a storytelling. Like it shouldn't be the same technical stuff. So that was the first point at the beginning of the SOP. Second thing, I would say the gist of the SOP. You have to make sure that your SOP's gist or the purpose of the SOP is relevant to the course which you are going to study. Or for me, it was CM, right? So I have to make sure that the whole gist or the whole core of the SOP is related to how am I going to be beneficial for the department, or how am I going to add value to the same course or being part of the department. So that is important. So in my SOP, I used my previous project and my professional experience in that I use that professional experience uh, to relate it to my course. So this was the second pointer. Third pointer,
hmm,
uh, making them aware that you know the department well, you know the university well, you know what professors are doing. So I added the name of the professor in the SOP. So it's not just about adding the name of the professor, but what I did is I added the research paper title of the professor, and I briefly explained what I understood from that his research paper, because many of the students write down the name of the professor, and they also write down the research paper. It's easy to go through the professor's profile and reading their title of the research paper. Anybody can do that, but going beyond one step further, trying to explain, okay, I'm interested to work with this professor for this reason, because he has done a research paper for this which briefly explains or which highlights or gives you the insights on this. So again, it shows that okay, you have done your research, you have gone through the professor's profile, you know what you're doing or what you want to do after coming here in the same university. And the last point, a personal touch. It's very important to give you, according to me, it's very important to give a personal touch to the statement of purpose. So what I used to do is at the end of the SOP, I used to add a word or a family word. Like for example, for A&M, we are Aggies. For you, Purdue, it's Boilermakers, right? For Clemson, it is Clemson Tigers. And similarly, Hokies for Virginia Tech, right? So
yeah,
I used to
yeah.
like I would look forward to be a part of Aggie family. So and thank you for your time and consideration. So it's like, oh, okay, he knows quite a well about the university and the traditions which are going here. So yeah, this looks interesting. And that's the ending. So when you end the SOP or when you end the conversation, most of the time it's most of the time the person remembers the ending conversation or the how it ended. So that's how I use it in the SOP.
I absolutely love your thoughts and tips here, man. And that ending thing,
Yeah,
go Boilermakers. I always do that
yeah,
as well. Even while I'm building connections on LinkedIn, I would write, "Hey,
yeah,
I would love to connect with you. Go Boilermakers if it's a Purdue connection," and they immediately connect with me. It just works. So
yeah.
that's great. Now, as you told us, you applied to all these universities. You started getting your admit. As soon as COVID happened, how were you afraid about that? And also, there was a change in presidency coming soon. What were your thoughts about it uh, in terms of jobs, in terms of coming here? Tell us a little bit about it.
See, the thing is, I had already resigned from my job. I already had invested my time. Bless you. Already have invested my time and money in this process, and there was no turning back. I saw many of the students and many of the people recommending me that, hey, dude, it's not safe to travel. What are you doing? Just wait, wait. I mean, I it's all about the gut and following your instinct. If you want
Correct.
something, then you go get it. There is no turning back. And speaking about the presidency thing and on the COVID situation, I know things might have turned more ugly, but fortunately, things went as per plan. But also, I think I haven't mentioned about it during our conversation. Like uh, when I was awarded the scholarship for this
Correct. We haven't gotten to that yet, but tell us a little bit about,
Okay,
start
just a brief.
with.
Just I will.
Yeah,
We
sure.
can
Yeah.
discuss about it later. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
when I was, so there is a Texan thing. I guess it is like if you are awarded $1,000 scholarship or more than that in Texas, I need to confirm. But if it is so, then most of the time students the out of state fee is waived off. So it is as good as you study for the 50% of the fee. So you will be charged only in-state fees if you receive a scholarship. So I also had this one, like if I defer, if I am not able to make this fall, I might lose this semester, and I don't want it to
Mm,
do online from India. So I
yep.
might lose this semester, I might lose this scholarship, and that's some 50% waiver will be only applicable for the next semester, spring semester. So I don't want it to lose that. So that's the reason why I decided to go for it. I fought till the end, like till, as I mentioned, till 12th and 13th of August, 17th of August, and yeah, finally I made it here. So that's upon you guys. It's if your guts tell you, like, go get it. Like if you want it, then there is no stopping you.
Right. 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 Um, Tell us about the scholarship on this topic. You got the MSNCM program scholarship for 2021. How
Mhm.
did that happen? How did you apply for it? What does that entail? Is it a cash value or your fees converts? Tell us a little bit about that.
See, I got to know about the scholarships when I was researching about the universities. Now, most of the time, what happens is in every university, not every, but most of the universities, there are dual programs. Like for in Texas A&M, we have construction engineering management and we have construction
Hmm.
management. It is
Hmm.
similar to the Clemson one. They also have similar kind of two courses. So it's up to you which course you want to go for. And I observed that for specifically for our department there were ample of scholarship fund. There was like no limit for the funding for our department.
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
yeah, so when I was going through this through the department website, I saw there were a number of scholarships available for the students. Also I had word with different students who were available on the Yocket. I talked with them. A couple of them got the scholarship as well when they got into TAMU. So you don't for the scholarship there was no need of applying it. I just have to be admitted, and once I'm admitted I am eligible for the scholarship, and then the admission committee which I told you about decide if you are capable enough or worthy enough to get the scholarship or not. And
Yeah,
that's
man,
how
it's your LinkedIn, visiting the profiles which worked out. So
maybe.
now, uh, now that you're a TA,
Mhm.
every university has a different structure of TA or RA. usually if you're a TA or a RA or a GA, your
Hmm.
fees is paid off by the university,
Yes,
and you
yes.
also get a stipend. Is
Yeah.
it a different way in TAMU, or is it the same?
It's the same way, but the thing is, like, as I already have a out of state fees waiver, uh, I won't get any other benefit apart from the insurance. They will take care of the insurance, and also they will give you the stipend for every month. This is how things work in TAMU. And if I did not had that scholarship or that out of state fees waiver, and if I would have backed the TA, then I would have got the 50% waiver anyway. So
Right.
that's how things are.
Okay, that's great.
Mhm.
Um, Now you're currently working as a TA with a professor.
Yeah,
Uh, how did you end up getting that TA? And it starts in November. It started in November, so that was
yeah,
kind of middle of the semester. Tell us a little bit about that experience. You're TAing for a professor for a course. It's surveying, isn't
construction
it?
serving. Yeah, yeah, true.
Yep. So tell us a little bit about it. How is it to work with undergrad American students, and what do you have to teach? What do you
Okay.
have to help with professor?
Hmm.
Um, yep.
Yeah. So see, the thing is, this position has been like I was offered this position at the beginning of the November, and we are currently preparing for the students who will be enrolled for the spring 21 semester. So
I
currently we
see.
are,
Okay.
yeah. So currently we are performing the surveying activities. As you know, you are a civil engineer too. So we are performing those activities. We are designing the assignments currently, and we are just preparing for the spring 21 semester. I would say that, and then on the spring in the month of January, when the spring semester begins, that's when the action will begin. And
Hmm.
speaking about how I bagged it, I would say uh, there is one more story to it. While I was looking for such positions, I already had a good experience in serving. I used to work on total station. You know what total station is, right? Like,
Yeah.
but audience might not know it. But yeah,
Yeah. No.
so
Total. I'm sure. The audience we have here is all civil engineers, so
yeah.
they should know total station. If they don't, then that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, so during my professional experience in 21 months, I used to work on total station as well. So when I received the admit in November 2019, I uh, I emailed a professor in February 2020 that I'm looking forward to a TA position for specifically for construction survey. And at the time, I didn't receive any reply from him. I thought it okay, he might be having the TA positions already filled in, so that is the reason why I didn't email him. So when I came in fall 2020, I tried visiting him again in the office hours, but due to COVID, hardly any professor used to be in the office. They were
Hmm.
teaching online, so it made a little difficult for me. I was not able to have one-to-one or in-person communication with any professor. But fortunately, what happened is for the same subject, a new professor was hired, and she will be taking over that class or that course from the coming spring 21 semester.
Mm-hmm.
And due to this, our department shoot an email to all the graduate students that hey, we are going to have 3 TA positions available for spring 21 semester. So if you guys want, you can shoot an email to the professor and see what happens. So the moment I saw that email, in the next 3 or 4 minutes, my email was drafted and I shooted an email to the professor stating that I already had applied for this position in Feb 2020, but I didn't receive
Right.
any reply. But this is how, again, the same kind of experience like I used in the Colorado State University's TA position, and it was again for the surveying as well. So I use the same tricks. I explain him what I'm bringing to the table, how you will be beneficial from it, and what I have done in my past. And yeah, that's how I
That's
received.
awesome,
Yeah.
man. Awesome. So
Also,
how many people do you have in your batch? Sorry, you go.
yeah, yeah. Also, what happens is most of the time professors are busy. So again, that is what happened with this professor as well. So I didn't receive any reply from them. So it's your responsibility to go ahead and shoot and follow up email. And you have to make
Correct.
sure that you're not bothering them too much. It doesn't mean that you have to keep shooting emails after emails. That's not how it works. So
Yep.
you have to at least shoot up one email, and if not, then go try finding that professor in person, talk with them, and that will definitely help you bring your game
Right.
to the next level.
Awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about your class. How many students did you get in this batch? Did everybody get a TARA position? As you said, that there's a lot of scholarship options and TA funding basically in your
Yeah,
department.
yeah.
So,
See, uh, for our specific department, for my construction management department, if we speak about the Indians, five students, five Indians were able to make it successfully in US. So
mhm.
among those, from those five, I would say three students got this scholarship. And for the students who deferred their admission from fall 2020 to spring 21, roughly the number would be around 20 students who got this scholarship from those 40 or 41 students. So yes, the number is quite high, I would
That is
say.
good. No, that is good, man.
Yeah,
Like getting into Texas A&M program of your choice and getting scholarship, that is awesome.
yeah,
So, does did Texas A&M had a career fair this time? And how,
yeah.
if they did, how was that experience for you guys?
See, specifically for, again, there is one more benefit of being in my construction management program rather than the construction engineering management program.
Right.
Yeah. So there are two career fairs which are conducted or which are organized throughout the university. One is the common career fair, which happens for all the civil engineering students, and one is the career fair which is exclusively organized for the construction management guys. So the first common career fair at the university level was organized at 2nd of November and 3rd of November. And we had joined the university, or I have arrived in the US on 27th of August. So I barely found any time to make it to
Prepare for it.
the career fairs. But
Yeah.
yeah, I attended it. It wasn't that much fruitful, I would say, but at least I came over that fear of attending the career fair. So that was the benefit of that career fair, I would say. And it was all online. So due to the COVID. And the next career fair,
So,
yeah, yeah.
sorry, next career fair is in?
Yeah, next category, which was exclusively conducted or organized for the construction management students only. It was in the month of October, or to be precise, it was on 23rd of October 2020. So on
Mhm.
that day, there were a couple of companies or industry, who enrolled for that career fair. Around 150 companies came for the career fair, and yeah, so the time frame was from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But uh, I could only manage to have word with 14 to 15 students, because I don't know how things work out in the in-person career fair, because this was my first career fair and that too was online. But
Right.
during the virtual, it was difficult for us because we have to we can only choose three companies, and we will be added into that queue. And if by mistake, if your net goes out, or by mistake if you come out of that queue, then you will be again standing in the queue again. So the time duration for, or the waiting time to get in contact with the recruiter is way too high. So for good
Right.
companies, it's it's a little high. For some companies was
Right.
2.5 hours, 3 hours. So that's how things were.
Yeah, it's oh wow, that's a long time. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird because I was for my company, I was in the Purdue's career fair as a recruiter this
yeah,
time. So
yeah,
it was weird for me. They would line up in the queue, and then we would talk to the people, and then you would talk for 5-10 minutes, and it's weird if you just cut the call and you're still listening to them. Sometimes in-person career fairs are great because first
exactly.
of all you see like where's the line. I'm not gonna go to these people right away. I'm gonna go there later.
Yeah,
But in the online career fair, you're always scared like what if the line later is longer.
yeah,
So
true.
there are challenges to it. I think this was probably the first time everybody was doing online career fair ever.
Correct.
So it hopefully it's a little better next time. Or
Hope so.
maybe since the vaccine might be out soon, we'll do in-person career fair again. I'm sure
Yeah,
people prefer that. I prefer that honestly. The one-on-one connection you build with people in person is completely different than what you
exactly.
have online.
I
Right.
agree with you. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Like, so what was your visa, like I know we are going back a little bit, but
Yeah, no
how was your
problem.
visa experience different this time at the consulate?
I told you about the process, right? Like the time frame was really less for me, but visa experience was a little difficult this time. I learned a lot about the expedite or emergency appointment. Because
Hmm.
I searched about it, I studied about it, but there wasn't any much resources available on YouTube or on the web. So I used to, shoot an email to the consulate of Mumbai. I used to chat with them. I used to call them. So I
Nice.
got a lot of yeah, I got a lot of information about it. So the thing is, what I found is like for every once you book an appointment, you have four chances to reschedule your appointment. That was the one thing which I found that was different. And again, for the emergency appointment, first you have to book an appointment. So that means you have to pay your visa fee. And if you cancel the visa, then is that fee refundable? No, the fee is not refundable, but you can book a new appointment on the same fee. So that way it can be used once. And apart from that, uh, the, I was afraid that if I pay the fees and if I defer, which I had deferred, so will my service ID change? Will because a new I-20 will be generated, right? So if the service ID changes, then there is again a hassle of paying that service fee or transferring the service fee from one service ID to another. Yeah, so that was a thing which I learned that most of the time the service ID remains the same. And yeah, so this were the things which I learned about it. And speaking about my visa experience, uh, I entered into the building around 10:35 and I came out at 10:45 or 10:50. It was super quick. It was super quick.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I mute because if there's disturbance outside. No, that is definitely the quickest interview I've ever seen coming in and out. That was
Yeah.
definitely okay. That was
And
easy then. What questions did they ask you? Like which university you're going to? That's it.
yeah, no, no, no. First of all, I was waiting at a counter, and a guy was already being interviewed in front of me. Okay, and once he was done, the lady was sitting there. She turned her back to me. I was again waiting there for 2 3 minutes. I was sweating, dude. What is she doing? Let's get this up. Let's get rid of this.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, so but then there was a guy who was passing beside her. So he saw that I'm waiting. So he just pointed me like, dude, come on this side.
Hmm.
I said, okay, fine, let's go get it done. So then I went ahead in front of his counter. I submitted all the documents, and he was a little old. And on the top of that, the mic wasn't working or the speaker wasn't working, so I was not able to hear him properly. And so during the interview, I requested him to repeat one or two questions twice, I guess. Yeah, but it didn't affect my interview. And the question which he asked is indirectly he asked me those why Texas A&M indirectly in three different ways. One was which in university are going for. I said Texas A&M, and he said why Texas A&M. So I explained about the course curriculum, about the professor. So then he said, okay, fine. He asked different question like generic question like who is going to sponsor education. I said, okay, fine, this, and how much money does your father has, or have you taken a loan? I said, okay, yeah, this, and again he asked, so why are you going to Texas A&M? So I rephrased that same answer which I gave at the first time, and I told him like this is what the course curriculum and the other universities I didn't had that opportunity, or I explained him. Okay, fine. He said fine. He asked another different question like, "Is this your first time? Have you traveled ever?" Okay, and again third time what he does is he says, "So why are you going to Texas? Is there any price difference between them? Because I had received the scholarship, right?" So he said, "Is there any price difference between this Texas A&M and other universities?" And I was like, "Okay, dude, he's trying to play with me." So I said, "Yes, sir. There was a
Yes.
price difference. Yeah, there was a price difference. I had received a scholarship and also have out-of-state fees waiver, which again reduces the price at a very good level. But the main reason for choosing Texas A&M over other universities, like I like the professor of, sorry, I like the in research of this professor, and that is the reason why I am looking forward to join this university. Yes, but the scholarship will be just like a cherry on the cake. But my main purpose is this
Nice,
research and this
nice.
professor. Yeah.
No,
So
that
it's
is
a pretty
awesome,
fine.
man.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, that's two, three more questions than I would hope for, but at least you had it all prepared, and that is very important to know that if you're this is like you're ready for all these questions if you research on your own and if you know exactly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you go to a consultant, if you go through a consultancy and a third party is doing your applications for you, you wouldn't research and you wouldn't know all of these
No,
things.
no. In fact, you don't
All
even
right.
know what you have written in your I-20 because most of the time your
Yes,
consultancy fills your fills up your I-20. So
that is
no, no.
correct.
Just one more thing.
Right.
If you need my visa conversation, I will either email you or I will. I've already posted on one of WhatsApp groups, so I will just copy that and I will maybe add
Do
it
it.
to our LinkedIn if
I
it is
actually
needed.
made a note right here. Ask Abhit about the visa consulate document. The whole process which you followed, the research you did. If you have like a document or something, or if you can document, it doesn't take you that much time.
Mhm.
Please do. Like that'll be really helpful. I'll
Yeah,
share it
sure,
on my blog.
sure, man.
Okay. Okay. Wait. One last questions. Any
Yes.
tips, tricks, or advice for incoming students to the future students who will be coming in and who will be watching this interview right here?
I would say, guys, don't lose faith in yourself. Keep grinding, and if any professor does not replies to you, if things are not going your way, don't worry. Your efforts will definitely pay off. If an average guy like me who can make it to the US in the COVID situation, so definitely you guys can make it too. And things are turning into our favor. Someone has been ruled out, a new guy has come in. So things are
Yeah,
pretty much turning into our way. So I'm damn sure that once you reach here, like everything rest will be history. You will be grinding well, and you will be accustomed
that's
with the process.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Thank you, Abhit, so much for the advice, for the whole. We have been going on for an hour, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Like a lot of value. Every Abhit's LinkedIn will be in the description, and if Abhit wants to share any of the resources later, he that will be in the description as well. Go check that out. And again, thanks a lot for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
the honor was completely mine, man. It's I'm really happy to be on this part of the table
On the
because
other side.
yeah, I have met you twice, I guess. I mean, both the times it was in Pune meetup, but we hardly found any time to, talk so much peacefully.
Interact,
Yeah, interact
right?
so much peacefully. But it's awesome to talk with you and dream come true, man.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
glad. No, I'm glad. No, no, of course, nothing like that. Thanks for doing this, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, man. Thank you.